Morning guys. Caught me in the middle of making something. I'll show you what that is in a second. Before I do that, let me just pick you up and show you where I am. It's been a long time since I made another video, but this is where we are today. I think you might recognise that over there. Yeah, not a bad place to be, is it? A couple of other vans along here. I'll take you out and show you around. Show you what I was just making here, and I'll take you back outside for that. I'm not very organised, am I? Bought myself a fire pit and a cast iron pan, so I can cook outside. That gives me the option to cook outside. So it's just what I was making just now. So yeah, so what have I been up to? I've been I was up in the lakes over Christmas time. I keep looking over this side because this side's got the little red recording symbol, and I keep forgetting that this side's the side with the camera. Yeah, I've been up to the lakes over Christmas, and I had COVID, and it really hammered me. What else did I do? I've been up to the peaks a couple of times. I've been... where else have I been? Christ, almost forgotten. Oh, I've been around, yeah, Salisbury, Woodend and the Drove. The Drove was shut down for a long time, so wasn't here for quite some time. And it opened up a couple of days ago, so I've come back, and that's been about it. I've been working full time all the time. I haven't been laid off or anything like that. I've been working. I think some of you may know that I work as a school caretaker, full time as a school caretaker in London, and yeah, I basically get out on the weekends. So I work full time in the week, and then weekends I rush out and find myself in all different sorts of places, which is what I'll carry on recording and taking you along. It's been a little bit hard since coming back from Spain, because everything's been in full lockdown, and I have been getting about, but I haven't really made any videos and posted anything up because one, I wasn't supposed to be driving around, and well, I say I wasn't supposed to be driving around. The issue is that I'm home. They tell you stay at home, and I am home. Wherever me van is, that's where I'm living at the time. So that's a bit of a dodgy one. But yeah, I haven't posted too much up because the places I've been haven't been the most exciting places in the world. But to be honest, I'm not really sure where I go, what I do from here, because with Brexit going on, and I'm not too sure, no one's too sure what is going to be happening with that. I'd like to get out to probably, I'd like to go back to Spain and Portugal, and I'd also like to go to Croatia, possibly Romania, places like that. So that's maybe on the cards in the future. Poland. There's so many places to go, so many places to choose from. But yeah, that's a couple of little ideas that I've got bouncing around in my head, but at the moment I think it's going to be Britain for most of this year, to see what goes on and see what the restrictions are, and I'll just see how things go from there. But yeah, I'm good, everything's okay. Let me just show you something else I've got planned for the rest, something I've got planned for the rest of this video. Let's shift all that crap. All this stuff down here, there you go, you see all that on the chair, all that stuff down there, that's CCTV, and I've got the monitor down there somewhere. There you go, all that down there, that's a CCTV setup. And I'm going to be doing a bit of an how-to, I guess. I don't normally do how-tos. I've done a few modifications to the van. I've put the solar on. That was a couple of a year and a half ago. I think I put that on, but I didn't really record it because there's so many YouTube videos out there that have done the same thing. So mine ain't going to be any different to theirs. So I don't see too much of a point. I've put a new B2B charger on because up in the lakes over Christmas time I was really struggling with power. Even with 460 watts on the roof, there was no sun, so I had no power. I've put LPG on and I haven't recorded any of it, and I know you guys, or a lot of the guys, seem to like that sort of thing. So yeah, this one's going to be a bit of an how-to, or a watch me balls it up video, if you like. Okay, so to fit your CCTV, you're going to need a few little bits and pieces, and the first thing you're going to need is your monitor. The monitor, this one's got an SD card fitment on the side there, SD slot. It comes with all the wires and a little remote control and a fixing bracket. This was £80 off eBay, and I'll put a link in the description. To record on that gives you split 4 screens, by the way, and I'll run through the menu when I've got it all set up. But yeah, to record on that you're going to need an SD card. It takes a 32 gig maximum SD card, so it would have been nice to have a 64 gig, but yeah, you're going to need an SD card to go with that. To get power to your cameras, you're going to need some CCTV power cables. This is normal DC CCTV power cables, what you'd normally use on normal CCTV. Because I've got 4 cameras, I'm going to need 4 power cables. So there's four cables there. To split the cables, I've got a splitter. Yeah, this is like, that takes 4 cables, that splits the 4 off from a single power point. And my power point, I've bought one of these little connectors, and I've just connected a piece of wire to that, bit of extra wire. So that comes just as a plug like that. So that plugs into there. This will go to your 12 volt supply, and this will run on, each one of these will plug into here. The other one will plug to a camera, and that will power all your cameras. To get video footage, you're going to need some RCA leads. You're going to need 4 RCA leads because you've got 4 cameras. These are quite good quality ones. You can buy cheaper ones than that. And you're going to need your 4 cameras. I've gone for these little teeny weeny little reverse type cameras. These are 1080p, high quality, but they're really cheap. These are like about £6 each, I think they were. And I've already tried them out, and they work really well. So I've got 4 of those. And then you're going to need an external box to run all your cables through your roof. Some glands, cable glands. These attach, you knock out the little holes in the little circles there. You just knock those out. These connect up, and you get a waterproof box, same as you'd use on your solar power or stuff like that. And then you're going to need to decide where you're going to fit your where you're going to fit your camera. You could have it on your dashboard where you're driving. It's small enough. You could just stick it on your dashboard, and then you've got reverse cameras and a good view around your van as you're parking and stuff like that. But I've already got, I'll just show you. In my van I've got a dash cam there that runs front and rear dash cam, and I've also got a reverse camera there. So I'm not going to use use my CCTV to view around the van whilst I'm driving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it. I'm going to mount it up here in that little space up there, because then I can just sit back and overnight I can see what's going on around the van. That's my intention. So it's not going to be used as a reversing camera or anything whilst driving. It's just going to be a CCTV system to keep an eye on the camera, to keep an eye on the van whilst it's parked. That's all I'm going to use the CCTV for. So yeah, I'll get on and start fitting it. So I've chosen to fit my monitor up here for a couple of reasons. One, I can see this space pretty well from wherever I sit in the van, and I've already got a 12-volt power supply here. So by removing this panel here, you can see I've run a lot of wires up there before for the solar, and this here is my constant 12-volt live for the TV and other stuff, if I had a TV, that is. So yeah, having the 12-volt power supply already there has made life pretty easy for me, and it's pretty close. I'll show you back here. You can see that's where I'm going to mount the monitor, and that's where my power supply is. And this cupboard here, that's where the behind that board there unscrews, and that's the access point for the solar cables. All the solar cables run up through the rear of that cupboard out through the roof, and all I've got to do there is pull the cables through and fit a new gland box, the waterproof box, this one here. And the reason I bought another box is because I've got two cables from the solar already going through the box on the roof already, and it's not going to fit another 4 or 5 cables through the two existing holes. So I've bought a 4 cable waterproof box to run those extra cables through. You can buy little cable connecting blocks that you splice into your cables. I'm not going to bother with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little nick in the cable here and here. You can see those little nicks I've put in there. And I'm going to wrap the wire around it, and I'm going to solder. I'm going to solder my wires to these wires underneath. Soldering it and then taping it up after will give me a good, secure and reliable connection. But you can just use little connecting blocks for connecting cables. They do like a little blue block that presses in and cuts through the cable itself. So you can use those. It all depends on how you want to do it. I can solder, so I'm quite happy to solder those wires on there. But don't just twist them on and hope that they're going to stay there, because they're probably going to just fall off. Okay, so this is my wires that have just been twisted on through the little cuts that I've put into the cables, and I'm going to put a little bit of solder on those. But one thing I wanted to make you aware of is that your power supply here, it has a live and a earth, or negative, live and neutral, whatever you want to call it. And the center of the pin is there is the live, and the outer casing is the earth on this particular CCTV monitor. Each power supply will have different way rounds, and normally in the instructions it will tell you which way round, what part of the jack is live and earth. So some jack plugs could have a neutral in the center, others could have a live in the center. Just be aware that they don't just go any way round. There is a particular way round that you need to fit these, and the instructions in the manual will normally tell you which way round they go. Okay, so we're going to need to get power to the monitor, and this is the cable that supplies the monitor power and the video to the cameras. And on that we have a simple black and red wire which is live and earth, and I'm going to again connect them to the same live and earth on the same cables here. I'm going to just connect those up onto there, and I'll do that now and I'll show you after. Okay, so I've spliced those cables in, and this is what they look like. I'll just give you, this is the live from my 12 volt system, and that's my earth, and the live and the live to the monitor and the live to the cameras are both wired on there, and the same with the earth from the monitor and the earth from the cameras. They're all wired on there, and I might need to I think I've got enough room now. I'm going to put a little bit of solder in there just to make sure that everything stays in place and doesn't come undone. I'm not happy with them just sitting like that, because they will probably just unwind with the vibration of the van and come undone. So I'm going to just solder those up and then tape it up. Okay, so that's soldered on, and what I've also done, you can see here, that I've taped the existing cable. I've followed the cable down this way, and I've taped about, I don't know, 1.5 inches or just under 2 inches. I've taped it along there so that if there is any pulling on the cable, it won't pull on the solder and the connections. So that's just as a double security measure to stop any tension going onto the joins. So that's all done now. I can connect that back up to the 12 volt cigarette lighter up there, and that part of the installation is done. Okay, so the next part of the job, we're going to connect the power for the CCTV for the cameras themselves. This is the power supply for the cameras, so obviously I need four wires, which are these ones here. I'll just grab those. These are just, like I said, these are just normal CCTV extension cables that you'd buy for normal household CCTV, and I'll connect those up and I'll show you what that looks like when that's done. Oh, I could just leave it there actually. Okay, so these just plug straight onto there. That's one. There's number 2. Number 3, number 4, and I've bought, my van is 6 meters long, so I've bought 6 meters of cable. Now I'm not going to need all 6 meters. Some of the cameras are going to be at the rear here, and some are going to go to the front of the van. But I wanted to make sure that when I bought the cable that I had enough. So that's the reason I've got so much cable. If you're better off to have the shortest cable possible, because you're going to use less power that way. Like you're going to get a little bit of wastage in the cable, but it's going to be minimum. But yeah, I was being on the safe side, and I bought 6 meters just to cover the 6 meters of the van length in case I wanted to move the cameras around. So that's the power supply to the cameras, and the next thing we're going to connect up is the RCA cables, and these are the same. These just plug straight on, and the RCA cables that you buy, you want to buy male to male, like both male ends, which is, I'll just show you that. You want to buy the male ends, so that there's male at both sides, because the monitor itself has the female connections. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and the 4th, and that's all we need to connect up. That's as easy as that. These are all push fit, as long as the power supply don't fall out. And what I will do is I'll tape that, in fact, just to make sure it can't fall out, because there's always a possibility of, once I bolt everything together, then it could come apart again. So I'm going I just tape that together so there's no chance of it coming loose. Okay, so that's the 4 power cables and the 4 visual cables for the picture, and all this cable here, all this lot now needs to be fed through the top of this cupboard and up through the roof. All this needs to be out on the roof now, so that's my next job. So yeah, the way I'm going to pull these cables through is just connect my 4 wires, or 8 wires should I say, with the power. I'm going to just connect the wires up on this bit of copper wire, and I'm going to pull the other end, and they should all pull through. Okay, so I did say this is going to be the hardest bit. It's feeding the wires through your little crevices, and it's not that easy. I've done this a few times before, because this little hole up here, it ain't that great a size, and I've already put some 16mm. Okay, oh that's it. Right, I'll put all this lot through, and then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, how I've managed to fish all the cables through. Right, because they've all just come through. Right, so here's my mess. Right, let's just rotate that down. Right, so all I've done was I've got a little bit of copper wire, because it's bendable and you can shape it and you can fish it through little crevices. So I've fed that through the gap, and on the end I've connected I've just taped on my power cable, and again a little bit further down I've taped on the RCA cables, and now I've just got to do the same. There's another little crevice up there, you can probably see that over in the back corner. There's another little hole that leads out to the roof, that leads up to the roof, so I've got to pull the little rubber grommet off that's on the roof, and fish those wires back through there. Okay, so there you can see the monitor is stuck in place, and I should be able to see that from my seated area, which is behind you, and my bed, which is, my bed's up there. I've got a drop down bed, so that's why I've put it up there, because that way I can see it from the seated area and from the bed area. And all I've got to do now is pull those cables through. But before I do that, through to the roof, I'm going to plug one of the cameras just to see if they actually do work. I have tried this, but you guys obviously haven't seen it, so yeah, so it's the red cable connects to the power cable, and the yellow one goes in one of those, and there you go. We have a view. There you go. You can look at yourself. Look, wrong way up. And these cameras do rotate. You can mount them either way. They do rotate in the mount, so whichever way it goes, like you can see. There you go. There you go. So, to save me breaking my table, I had to put it on the floor to push these out. But yeah, they just push out. Put a bit of force on them. And these have a little rubber grommet inside, so that when you tighten these down, this squeezes in on your wire, and it's got a rubber seal there, and it waterproofs. As you can see, the tighter you do it, the smaller the aperture becomes. And yeah, that's it. All I've got to do now, drill an hole through the bottom of here and pull the wires through. So yeah, now I've got the cameras up on the roof. The plan is to use a bit of tape just to stick them in place. I'm going to put one up there on the corner, another one up there on this corner. I'll show you where I'm going to put them in a sec. I'm going to just use a bit of tape to stick them in place. They come with like a double-sided sticky thing, but I'm not going to use it at the moment. I'm going to just place them so I can sort of have a look on the monitor and see what the best place is for them, because I'm not really sure where I want them to be. So yeah, this comes in really handy for that. A collapsible folding ladder. So really good buy this was, and I'll show you. I'm really pleased with this. So without it, it would make my life so much harder. So if I stick you back there, I'll go up and show you what's going on. So I'll go up the ladder and try and put the cameras in place. See how they go. Okay, so the next bit is going to be bloody difficult because I'm on my own. So I've got to go up the ladder, turn the camera around and have a play around with them to try and sort of get them in the right position. It's much harder on your own. It'd be easy for two people because someone could just tell you when it's straight and what's in the viewfinder. So I'll go and have a play with that and get back to you and show you what I'm doing. So yeah, this is where I plan to have them. I don't know if you can see it up there. Yeah, it's small and discreet. So that's the plan. Can you see that? Okay, so you can see now I've got set up 4 sides, and I'll take you outside and just show you what they look like out here. I'm really pleased with those. You can see that one up there, the other one up there, and the other side. I'll show you those as well. discreet. Just about see them. Quite pleased with those. That one there. So that covers all 4 sides. And yeah, I'm happy with that. Biggest issue I had with any of the fitting of the CCTV is that some of the cables were a little bit difficult getting through the holes, so I actually had to cut some of the plugs off. And you can buy like easy to fit screw on, and I'll put a picture up and show you what I mean. But yeah, a couple of the plugs I cut off and replaced them, just simply to make it easier pulling the cables through and fitting them through the grommets and stuff. So I'm pleased with the way it's gone, and I'll put up some pictures of what it looks like at night and in the daytime. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. And by the way, I've got my fire pit going as well. Step back and I've got my fire pit going ready for dinner tonight. So yeah, see you on the next one.